Yay! Everything is working. Okay, so Friday the 13th. This time I just kept all of my thoughts in the notes app. What a wild ride. I don't think, I'm so glad that I watched all four of them, like, this week, like, in a row, basically.
Yeah.
Like, what an amazing way to experience the story of Jason. It was a roller coaster.
And there's like still four more.
How are there still four more? The fourth one
Oh,
was
I
called the
can't.
final chapter.
Well, it was supposed to be the last one because for anybody that doesn't know, Paramount, they did not like because they were like considered like the trashy taboo movies.
Oh,
And they were like,
really?
we don't want to be known as making these trashy movies.
Oh.
So they were like, the fourth one's gonna be the last one. But they made so much money off of them that they're like, you know what? We
Never
actually don't
mind.
care.
We'll be the trash. Third one and fourth one are getting mixed up in my brain. Oh, the third one was with the girl who had been like kidnapped by him once.
Yeah.
Oh, and oh my God. No, I hated all those people. I hated them so much. Like at the beginning, I was like, okay, I don't care about these losers. And then
Yeah.
like like when it's building up the story and you're getting to know them all, and I'm just like, I'm just waiting for Jason. Like I don't care about their
Yeah.
background or these bikers or this lame loser guy. But then I got really invested because all of the men in that movie sucked so much. I was
Yeah.
like, I feel like whoever wrote this, like, had specific people in mind that they disliked and based these characters on those people because they were so much more irritating than anyone else. Like the Shelly guy, I was like, I know this person exactly. Like I went to high school with this guy. Like literally, I if he watched this movie, he would think it's him. Rick was so annoying. Like he grabbed her as she walked into the house and just started kissing her. And then she was
Yeah.
annoyed at him and walks away. And he's like, "Aren't you even going to say hello?" Like, excuse me, you didn't say hello. Like, what are you talking about?
I I really love the part when they're working in the like barn with the hay
Yes.
and he's talking about how, oh, I gave up a chance
I
to
know.
spend the weekend with like easy Mary Joe or what.
Yeah.
And you like I assume he's thinking it's gonna be like every stereotypical thing ever where the girl's just gonna be like, my God, I'm
Me?
so honored you picked
Yeah.
me. And then she's just like, wow, you're stupid.
I loved that part. Yeah, I was gonna say she was the best, like, survivor, but then I remembered Ginny,
Yeah.
and Ginny is awesome.
I'm gonna say Ginny and Chris from part three are probably my two favorites. I guess I should ask,
Oh,
since you've
yeah.
seen the first four, what are your thoughts on like the first one compared to the rest?
I liked the first one when I watched it,
Yeah,
but I think I like the other. I don't think it's my favorite. I think maybe the second one is my favorite. But it's
same.
tough because like the first one has like that kind of twist, and I think
Yeah,
it could stand alone, but I just didn't really like um the characters as much. Like I thought Alice
yeah.
was kind of boring. I didn't expect her
Yep.
even to be the one that survived. I kind of thought the one who suggested strip Monopoly seemed like the smartest one. So
Yeah,
I thought
she's
she would
probably my
live.
favorite out of that
We
group
are the same person.
because she's like the only girl that has a personality. Alice doesn't really have a personality. Like her only thing is she's an artist,
Yeah.
which I do kind of like when the like porn star
Yeah.
like, owner was like looking at her art and he's like, "Do I look like that?" And I don't know if it because I know you like draw people. I don't know if anybody's ever asked you
Yeah,
that.
people have asked me that.
And
So
then
it's like
she's
obviously you do.
well, but other than that, she doesn't really have much of a personality.
No, like I thought she was gonna have more of a because she
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, I fucking hate the woods. Like I'm leaving." And I was like, "Girl, same. Like you should get out of here. This place is stupid, and your boss is barely wearing clothes." I liked the one that suggested the strip monopoly because she was also the only one who, when she heard weird noises, didn't go investigate them like an idiot. Like she heard some weird creaking in the dark corner of this outdoor bathroom and she looked at it and then she was like, "Oh well," and left. And I was like, "Smart." Everyone else is like, "What's that?" And they like walk in butthole first and just get murdered.
Well, then there's the other girl who her whole personality is she's Kevin Bacon's girlfriend, and she likes to like talk in the old
Oh
balloon
yeah.
movie star voice.
I was like, does she not know what year it is? Like, I didn't get what she was doing.
And that's like her only personality. Oh, and she's afraid of thunderstorms, like
Oh my
dogs or
God.
cats.
I know her whole long ass story about like I've been afraid of thunderstorms ever since I was a girl, and he's like, okay, well it's just a storm. Like,
Do you want to go do it?
I know. He's
Okay.
like, what? Yeah, I totally was like, I understand why they're killing these people. Like these people are
I
insufferable.
appreciate that Pamela Voorhees was the killer because
Yeah,
people always bitch like, oh, there aren't any slasher movies that have a female as the killer, and it's like, here you go, right?
yeah. Nobody told me that this was a girl power film. Like, there's so much like fun girly moments. Just I think it passes the Bechdel test. I don't really remember. They don't talk all that much about
Yeah,
anything that matters. Actually, yes, it does when they're talking about food. It passes that test. When you
yeah,
watch the other ones, especially the second one, the characters are so much more interesting that I
yeah.
like actually care that they're being murdered. I'm like, "Oh no."
I mean, let's try to think beyond the legend. I mean, what would he be like today? Some kind of out of control psychopath? A child trapped in a man's body? Or what do you think?
I think you're drunk.
Like
I'll take that.
Ginny was such an interesting character and when she was like going into like what must the psychological state of Jason be? Like I want to talk about this and everyone else was just like he's just some weirdo. I was like you guys don't deserve Ginny. Like she's so cool and you're so dumb.
Yeah. And the second one is totally my favorite. I mean, you probably can't really tell on the camera, but my
Oh.
shirt that I'm wearing is a part two shirt
Oh, that's so cool.
of like Ginny. I think she's probably one of the best
Yeah,
final girls, even just not even in Friday the 13th, but just like in all of horror movies.
totally.
I think the first time I watched, I wanted to write her off because most final girls, with the exception of like, Laurie Strode stuff, kind of are just boring girls,
Yeah.
kind of like Alice.
Yeah.
And she's dating Paul,
Yep.
or kind of seeing Paul, not dating him, and Paul just kind of sucks.
Yeah, I was not sure about her when I saw that she was dating Paul. I was like,
Yeah.
this is maybe you're not cool because what are you doing? Like he looks like a Mormon Big Bird. Like I really and he was so serious with all of his little speeches. I was like, ew. Also unrelated, but that guy who had their car fake towed, I guess he's
Yeah.
like second in command, like vice president of the camp. He looks like the main character in Ratatouille. Like he looks
He does. I guess I
exactly.
never thought about it before. I always think now after Harry Potter came out, I see it. I always think he just looks like a Weasley, like
He
he looks like
does. Did he die? He died, didn't he?
no, actually he didn't because he stayed at the bar.
Yeah, I was realizing today when I was watching the fourth one, and I was like, oh, black people. And I remembered there was one black guy in the second one, and I think he just stayed at the bar. So the
Yeah.
moral of the
I
story is to always choose alcohol over the outdoors.
which I was about to point out before we got sidetracked. When they're like, who wants one last night on the town?
Uh-huh.
All the black counselors are like, yep, I'm getting the
Yeah.
fuck out of here.
All because there's an Asian girl too. Like all of the people of color were like, I may just not come back actually, because we are very much outside. Oh yeah, and then Jason's like shack house. If I saw that, I would never go in. I couldn't even
Yeah.
believe the cop went in. Like, and then I think, oh, later when Ginny is like running away and she they do this a lot, like in the fourth movie too. They like get behind these like rickety doors that like are 1,000 years old, and then they put like a piece of wood there, and they're like, okay, that'll keep him out. Like that wouldn't keep me out, first of all. But second of all, he's literally like he has like this insane jungle boy strength. Like he just like crashes through things. Like or when they lock the windows, like okay, he won't get in now. Like he has no qualms with breaking your window to get
Yeah.
in. Like I don't think the little latch is gonna stop him. So like what I don't understand is like he drowned, but then he didn't drown. Like how is he alive?
Yeah. They this because when we were talking about Happy Death Day,
Uh-huh.
I said like horror sequels always do the thing where they like over explain shit.
Yeah.
And the Friday the 13th movies are like the opposite of that. They're just
Right.
like it doesn't really fucking matter.
Yeah. Yeah, they just I was telling Michael it's kind of like porn where they're just building up to the important part, which is like the sex. So they're like, don't even question. It doesn't matter how we got here. What matters is that we're here and this is what's happening. Like it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's don't even think too hard about the fact that Jason drowned, but now he's fine. Just
Yeah.
go with it. Like,
Like I've heard theories that like fans have made like oh because I guess there was some other movie that the guy that directed part 2 and 3 made
mhm.
that's not like connected to this at all, but it's about like a guy that gets like stuck underwater and it's like so cold it like kind of like cryogenically freezes him,
Oh.
and then he comes out and then he like ages and all this stuff, so people are like, oh, it's like that's what happened with Jason.
Oh my God, speaking of kids and how annoying they are, when I saw that there was a kid in the fourth one, I was like, is Jason gonna kill this kid? Like, I feel like as much as, like, he'll kill, it seems like anyone. He had no qualms about attacking that guy in the wheelchair. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't mind killing women, defenseless people, like, whatever. He's just like, well, I'm going through it. But, like, the kid, I was like, are we gonna see a kid get like stabbed? Like, what's gonna happen? Um, I really had no idea. And then there was the moment where he's chasing Trish, and the kid is like yelling at her, and I guess he was gonna try to like help her or something. And she
Yeah.
yells at him not to, and then Jason just kind of looks at him for a second, and then is like, no, and then goes back to Trish. I was like, oh, does Jason like kids? Like it didn't seem like he was ever gonna kill Tommy. So was it
Yeah.
ever like confirmed that Jason only kills like adults or that he only kills couples?
I don't think so. I think the assumption with that one is like him and Tommy had a connection of like they were both kind of misfits,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, I don't think they ever really clarify that he won't kill kids. They're killing people, like who fucking cares if they're kids, right?
Right. Like killing people is bad no matter. It's not like, oh, don't worry, they're adults, so it's totally fine that they got
Yeah.
murdered. It's not that sad. Um I was gonna say like how you said Jason, it seems like he doesn't like he had a little bit of a bond because they're both misfits. I was so worried that he wasn't gonna kill Shelly because Shelly was such a misfit. Sometimes it seemed like they were trying to make you hate him. Like, yeah, this guy's a prick. Like he has such a victim mentality and he's dumb. But then other
Yeah.
times it was like, oh, poor him. Like girls don't like him just because he has a terrible personality and no self-awareness. Like, don't you
Yeah.
feel bad for him? So I was worried that Jason would like see him alone. And then they even had that scene where like he's being watched and then it seems like someone approaches him because he looks like into the camera as if
Yeah.
the camera's Jason. So I was like, oh my God, are they gonna like spare Shelley? That would be devastating.
I want to make my point about Shelley.
Oh yeah,
Um, like that he's so frustrating.
I hate
Like he
him.
might be like I know we'll probably get back to him, but we were bitching about Rick at the
Mhm.
beginning. I think I hate Shelley more.
Oh yeah.
And it's just because he's so fucking annoying and he's always playing these stupid pranks, even though people always get mad at him afterwards.
I
And then he's just
know.
like, oh my god, why are people mad at me? And it's like, because you don't learn.
And then he
Yeah.
did that like thing that all losers do where he was like, I really like you. And I was like, how does he like her? He's had half of a conversation with her. Like he doesn't know her at all. He's like, I really like you, like blah blah blah. And she's like, oh, it's just not gonna happen. Like I'm just gonna
Yeah.
take a walk and
Well,
then we can keep talking about it. And then he calls her a bitch.
I also have to say that, and I guess it's not so much the character itself. I don't like Chris's friend is pregnant.
I know. That made no
I
sense.
because they don't have a pregnant actress, because they're not having her like look pregnant, she has to constantly be like, well, I'm
I'm
pregnant.
pregnant. Yeah, I know.
Because the guy's like, here, smoke some of this weed, or like, or when they think the cops are after them, like, here, eat some of this weed we have to eat so the cops don't find it.
I
And she's like,
know.
I can't, I'm pregnant, remember?
I know. I was like, these people should not be reproducing because, like, the fact that he was like, "Hey, pregnant, like, eat these drugs."
Yeah, well, and I'm assuming the only reason that she was pregnant was one of two things. And it's either to show, like, oh, Jason doesn't care, but it's like, does Jason even
How would
know?
he know? Yeah.
And, or if it wasn't that, it's because they, like, kind of have her as the, like, motherly one,
Right.
where she's always like, oh, well, Chris, bad things happen to you, and it's okay if you're
Yeah, she's like,
upset.
just get over it though and have a good weekend.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe, like, if I were Jenny, I would have been like, I fucking told you this guy was real and you and Ratatouille were making fun of me and he is real. So, like, I was right, I told you so. But I think she didn't because she had gotten like stabbed in the leg. But if I
Yeah.
were Paul, I would have been like, dude, I'm so embarrassed that I didn't believe you. Like, you nailed it. You were right. All of our people are dead because I didn't listen to you. But he never even said you were right. I was wrong. He just, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm the hero here because I drug you away, even though you
Yeah.
technically killed him.
Right. Yeah. He's like, well, I'm here now, so it's fine. And then he doesn't even, like, check their flank or anything and gets killed anyway. So,
Well,
Paul
and
sucks.
it's like that scene, I'm always, because she's in there, she almost gets Jason, like, because they say she's a child psychologist, or she's studying child psychology, and she's using that because she's smart and awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
she's
and
so
I'm
smart.
gonna, like, outsmart
Oh
him,
my
and she
God.
does, almost, like, she's
She
doing
almost
it,
does.
and then he sees, like, the mom's head, and is like, oh my god, like, you're not my mom, like, what the fuck?
I know. I felt bad. At first, I was like, wait, why doesn't she just like get him to leave because he's gonna see the head?
Yeah,
But then I realized like she was gonna kill him, and that's why she was telling
yeah.
it. And I was like, what a bad bitch. Like she is so smart. Like the quick thinking that it takes to see a shrine with a decapitated head and move
Yeah.
past that and go to like I'm gonna put that sweater on. Like she is so incredible for like thinking of that.
Yeah. I feel like all of these movies have that, like, really annoying Joker character.
Yeah,
Like, you have
totally.
Nettie in the first one.
Mhm.
You have, I assume, Ratatouille in the second one because he's part of, like, that whole thing where they're, like, gonna trick all the counselors doing, like,
Yeah.
ghost story.
Yeah, and he's the one who like gets the most drunk, I think, at the
Yeah.
bar.
Then you have Shelley in the third
Mhm.
one. And like these characters are always like the fucking worst one.
I know, and I'm like, I think they do just want us to hate them so that when they die,
Yeah.
it's like, okay. The only deaths that I was sad about, at least in the fourth one, was the one that they keep calling dead fuck, and he's just like really happy because he finally had sex or something. And I'm like, oh, good for him. And then he died, and I was like, oh, well, you know what? At least he had a good night before that happened.
Well,
Um,
that whole fucking thing just is so ridiculous and funny to
mm,
me. And then
um,
they agree they're gonna have like a second round, but she's gonna go to the bathroom first. And
yeah.
then he's like, okay, I'm gonna get dressed and go back downstairs.
I know, I didn't get that. She was like, stay right there. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna do the very opposite of that and leave and go talk to
And I'm
Teddy instead. I'm
gonna steal your underwear too while
Oh my God, I was like, I wasn't even thinking about Jason at that point. I was like, she's not gonna hook up with you if she realizes that you took her underwear and gave it to your friend. Like, that's such a weird thing to do.
And then I just love his death
Yeah,
because
it's so like the
he's just
corkscrew.
like, yeah, Ted, where the hell's the corkscrew?
He was he was so like upset. He's like, "Where is the corkscrew?" And then he dies, and I was like, "Oh man, you just had to have that corkscrew."
We've often said that we are fans of boxed wine
Exactly.
and wine with like screw off tops, and you don't need corkscrews for that.
There was that guy Rob too, who was like, I guess, hunting Jason.
Yeah.
And I thought that was weird. No one questioned it because they were giving him a ride and they're like, "What are you hunting?" And he's like, "Oh, bears." And the kid was like, "You're not hunting bears." And he's like, "Well, are there any kids around here?" And I'm like, "Are you going to hunt the kids?"
Then you find out that he's Sandra's brother, who was the girl that we said looked like she was 12 in part 2.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't remember who Sandra was.
Yeah,
She didn't seem
that's
all
who
that
she was.
great. I don't think I would
Yeah.
care to avenge her, to be honest.
And that whole thing is also weird
Uh-huh.
because the first one, like all these movies, like when they were filmed, like yeah, they were all filmed like a year after each other,
Uh-huh.
but or at least came out a year after each other, but like the first one's 80 and then part 2 is supposed to be 5 years later.
Oh,
Part
okay.
3 is supposed to be the next day. And part 4 is supposed to be the day after that. So it's like your
Wait.
sister died 2 days ago. Like why are you already trying to avenge her?
Wait, I didn't know that. Okay, so part two, and then part three is.
Yeah, because they have the news thing where it's like last night, like all these
Oh,
kids were
oh, yeah.
murdered and Ginny's the only one that
Oh,
lived.
that's right. It was like the very next day. And
Yeah, and then part 4 is like the next day after that. It's like, okay, your sister died like 2 days
yeah,
ago.
like
Like,
she hasn't
has the
even.
funeral even happened
I
yet?
was about to say the same thing. Like, there's no way she's even in the ground yet or whatever. Like, shouldn't you be with your parents? Yeah, I like our final takeaways that alcohol is the savior, never go
Alcohol for the win.
camping. Yeah. And this drawing is almost done anyway, so it's a good stopping point. It came out good. I
Fucking
was
amazing drawing, by the way.
Thank you. Not only are we like so funny and interesting, but also like I'm getting really good at like doing quick drawings of movie characters. And that's it. Bye.
Bye.